Every time I go
looks like
live. Yep. Let's see. Activate. Abracadabra. Turn on now. Nope. Nothing. There it goes. Ah, sorry, folks. Man, the stuff you deal with when you try to run a cool show, I'm telling you. Welcome to another episode of Wheelchair Wednesday. We are here today with another brave soul coming to us to talk about their life in a wheelchair, all the way from the great state of Florida. But before we get to her, first off, let me just shamelessly plug my website, wcmafia.com. If you go there right now, we got all kinds of good wear and t-shirts and hats and slippers and stickers. I mean, if you want something, buy something, get some merch. Check it out. I've never done that before, but today's the first. wcmafia.com. Now, let's get to another Wheelchair Wednesday. Roll the intro. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and welcome Ms. Cody Bowman. What is going on? How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's good to have you. This is pretty deep now. I mean, we're past like 70-something, 72 different interviews with people. So, I mean, I'm just glad people are coming through and sharing their stories. Now, this is a live show. We're shooting it live. There are people that will message in. If they have any questions that are relevant to the topic, we will discuss that. I'll bring it up to you. But besides that, I just got my handy list of 10 questions. We're just going to ask you 10 questions about life in a wheelchair. Give us your answers, how you see fit, and we'll go from there. First off, how are you doing today?
I'm great. It's my day off.
Nice.
And, can't complain. I live in Florida, and it's beautiful and hot. Way too hot.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot from my Florida buddies. What do you do for work, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm a cashier right now at Publix grocery store. But I do a little digital marketing on the side. I actually graduated from the University of South Florida last summer with my Bachelor of Arts in Professional and Technical Communications. So I do a little of like content creation on the side as well.
Nice. Well, congratulations. Thanks for hanging out with us today and bringing us your side of the story. Now, the first question is pretty much the basic question that we've all gotten before, is how did it happen? Like what, and yours is a little different. Yours is not necessarily like you got thrown out of a car or something like that. But go ahead and explain your situation.
Well, I was actually born with a birth defect called Spinabifida. It basically means that my spine did not form properly before I was born. So, like I said, I've been this way since I was born. So I've never known any other way of life.
And this is like you're wheelchair bound pretty much every day, all day.
Yes, I can transfer. Like I drive. I can transfer out of my chair independently. But yeah, for the most part, I'm a wheelchair user. The majority of the time, yes.
Okay. So what we're going to do is a lot of these questions are kind of based around like SCI stuff, but what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of get to know you and we'll work around what we got. So like the next one was, would you walk if you could? Which technically what I would say is, to a spinal cord injury person, if you could go back and change that day, would you do it? But with you had to deal with this your whole life. Let's just talk about that. Like growing up, how was growing up like?
Well, believe it or not, I've had people ask me that question, like, what if there's a cure? What if, they find a way to help you walk someday? And you know what, like, I wouldn't be me if I changed,
Right.
I mean, as much as it would be great to find a cure for spina bifida, I mean, I don't think I would change anything. I mean, like I said, this is the only way I've known. So this is normal to me. I wouldn't be me if I changed anything about myself. So,
right.
But I'm pretty independent. I work. I have two college degrees. I drive and I'm very active. So, life is pretty good, all things considered. I don't think being unable to walk is, the worst thing in the world in my circumstance.
Right, right. Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that one. I mean, it's like our last guest just said, it's it could be worse easily. So it's like you got to kind of take the good with the bad and roll on. And like you said, you wouldn't be yourself if you weren't, who you are today. And like that's, I answer that question all the time, and I'm like, no, I wouldn't go back. I'd stay where I'm at because I've learned so much as a person, and I was able to grow. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
that's definitely, yeah, that's definitely a good answer. I mean, I couldn't imagine growing up, with like something like that and having to live my whole life like that. But there's people that do it all the time, and nobody
I know,
realizes it.
and you know what? Like, it's funny because a lot of people in shares like we hate being called inspirational, but as for me, I guess as a person who's only known this way of life, like people who have known both sides of the coin, that to me that's inspirational because like I can't imagine what it's like to know two sides of the coin and then to suddenly have that taken away from you. And
Oh, I see where you're
you know
going.
I
Yep.
yeah, like I have had really good friends that have spinal cord injuries, and like they're more successful now than they were before. And so I look at them and I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like, if they can get past that, then you know things aren't that bad. Like life could always be worse, but no, I guess nobody's traumas are worse or less than anybody else's. But you know,
Well, I see where you're going with that too, and I never thought about it that way. Like for somebody like you who's had to deal with this your whole entire life, it's not like it just all of a sudden happened one day out of the blue and then boom, now you have to deal with it. You're just, that's the way it is. That's the way it's been. And I see what you mean by like just kind of the trauma because it is. It's like you lost yourself, and it's you got to say goodbye to that person and become somebody else and somebody new, a newer
right?
version of yourself, pretty much.
Exactly.
Now the next question I have can pertain to you. What about dating/married? The
I'm single.
face.
I'm single, and dating sucks, especially these days. Uh, Never mind being, disabled. I think it. I guess it's. I guess love is not as easy to find because we live in, I guess, like a hookup culture, and
Yeah.
it's easier for people to just get what they want and without the commitment. And I don't know, it's just in that regard, it's hard, and it is hard not having people seeing the person in the chair as opposed, like, they see the chair first,
Oh
they don't
yeah.
see the person in it.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, I've had some people who have accepted me for me, but they turn out to be narcissists.
Oh well, that's always great.
So like, that's so yeah, like dating's been hard, and of course, I mean, just like anybody else, I'd love to fall in love and find somebody that accepts me for me, but I'm living my life and doing my own thing, and it'll come. If it happens, it happens, and
Right.
it's rough out there.
I'm a firm believer in that, but I'm also a firm believer in opportunities. Like you can't just let an opportunity slide by you. If there's something that you need to do, you got to do it. For instance, like, are you on any kind of dating apps or anything? I know those can be like wild. I've heard, but.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, I can write a book. Let me tell you that.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, I've been on and off them since my 20s, and um, yeah, like I said, it's rough. It's kind of scary, and sometimes
I can
some
imagine.
people are just yeah, like I had somebody message me on Instagram earlier, and they were like, "Why the wheelchair?" So
Why the
he's my
wheelchair?
cousin.
What the hell kind of question
Yeah.
is that?
Like he didn't even know me. Like he just messaged me. I found him in my other folder, and I'm kind of a smart aleck, and
Right.
I wrote back, and I don't know why your face, like
Why your
like why you,
face? Right.
yeah.
That's a good comeback. I like
I
that
just
one.
like people just don't think, and considering I've been in customer service for 12 years, so I know like people like
You seem like
most
a
people think,
customer service person too.
yeah,
I could see.
I'm a people person. So, but I've heard it all. I get a lot of messages on dating apps like can you still have sex? And I'm like, well, I'm not dead.
Right.
I'm like, I'm still a human being. Like, of course I can still have sex. And, but it's like, and
That's almost like the
that's the first
go-to,
question.
yeah. When people see
Yeah.
people
Like,
on a
that's like
chair, they're like, "Can you still do it?"
yeah. Or like, can you feel? And I'm like, you're gonna like message me first thing and say, ask me that. Like, so you can usually tell right off the bat who's like wanting something serious and who's just
Right.
looking like to hook up, you know? So I'm like, I end up just like unmatching people at that point. You know, if you really wanted to get to know me, you would ask me, you know, something like not sexual beforehand. Like,
Yeah, people don't
I
have
don't really,
audacity. Like back in the day, I mean, you got to think about like the gentleman. You know what I mean? Like somebody coming up with actually manners. And nowadays, it's just
you
straight
know,
up like devotees and let me see some feet pics and just craziness.
I know, like, buy me some flowers, tell me I'm pretty. Like, you know,
Buy me some flowers. Tell me I'm pretty. Then we can have a discussion about the other stuff.
yeah, right? Like, yeah, love is not, when sex got easier to get, love got harder to find, you know, so,
Right. I like the way you put
but,
that. It's true.
you know,
It is
it is.
true. You know, as a child of the 90s, growing up in the 90s, you know what I mean? That was still something where it was like, nowadays you got cell phones with Instagram models and all this crap. We didn't have that back in the 90s. You had to get like a magazine or something like that. And
Mhm.
I'll never forget, I know some of our viewers and listeners are going to be like, oh my gosh. But like one day my dad gave me one of his magazines and he was like, here you go. You can have this, you know, just don't let me see it laying around. I ended up taking that magazine and taking all the centerfolds out, all the full page pictures, and putting them on my wall, all in one big square. And my dad walked in and was like, he just shook his head and walked out. He didn't know what to say, and I'm just like, okay, so that's cool. I can do that. I'm like 15. I'm like, sure, why not? But yeah, no, it's crazy because like nowadays it's simple. It's just a click. It's a button. You pick up a device and you're there. You know what I mean? People don't think about it.
And
There's no commitment no more.
no, and it's like so easy to just unmatch people, and then it like you know, it kind of hurts when you get ghosted because it's like you know, you can't communicate and tell me like why you unmatched me, or like,
Right.
you know, be an
Like
adult.
I'm
Like,
sorry, we're not just gonna work out. Like it's no big deal. See you
yeah.
later. That would be better than just nothing.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It is a crazy world out there. What about this? Let me ask you this. You spent most of your life in a wheelchair. What do you 3 points. What do you feel about like your pet peeves? What's your biggest pet peeve about being in a wheelchair? Like what's the thing you just dislike the most? Or that bugs you?
Uh, I don't. I have a lot of pet peeves. I guess, you know, people that, you know, that come up and, you know, they ask questions like, "What's wrong with you?" Or
Yeah, like we were talking about. Can you still do it? Right.
yeah, yeah, that, or um yeah, like they just they ask me weird questions. And I will say, I know it's kind of off subject, but like, I don't like the R word, because to me that you know, is personally offensive.
Right.
Um, I think people need to,
They laid off it for a while, but now they're bringing it back. I've noticed.
yeah, and it might not like pertain to me per se, but like still, it's just like I'm very particular about like, you know, things like that. And you know, like I guess I'm old school, so like I still do use, you know, outdated terms like handicap sticker, but like the R word is one thing that, because it's like, it might not pertain to me, but it might pertain to
It's
people that I care
disrespectful,
about,
right?
and
Right.
like friends, and it's low class.
Yeah,
Like,
there you go.
you know,
Yep.
it's really low class. Um, so I don't know. I kind of just I try. I was raised to, you know, just not care what anybody thinks about me. You know, I have a thick skin, and you know, so this is me. I don't care. Like, not a lot. I try not to let things get to me too much. You know, of course, yeah. When I get rejected, you know, in dating, that's irritating and hurtful. But you know what? I'm all things considered, I'm pretty lucky. So I try to keep a positive attitude, and so for the most part.
Right. Absolutely. That's what you can do. I mean, that right there, to wake up every day and just realize that you're alive and you're, able to do a lot of things that a lot of people aren't right now. That
Yeah.
right there is kind of a blessing to think like, okay, at least I got what I got and I can go about my day and you know what I mean? Like make something of it. And like you said, something like it always seems for me too, like right when you least expect it, something happens. Like if you have faith and you do good and I think like if you put good out in the universe, good returns to you kind of thing.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I yeah, I believe in karma. What goes around
Yeah.
comes around. So
Let me ask you this. This question, like I said, it normally would pertain to like an SCI, but like it says like what is something that you wish you could do that you can no longer do, but what is something that you wish you could do that you've never been able to do?
um
If you could pick one thing.
rollerblade.
Rollerblade?
Is that silly?
That's your
I think it
go-to?
I think that looks like fun. I always thought that looked like fun. I mean, I don't know, like,
I've rollerbladed. I've rollerbladed, and let me tell you this. It's okay for a minute, but, like, your ankles start hurting after a while because it's like you're literally just on one little, line of wheels. And, I mean, the force skates are more comfortable, I guess, but they're not as nimble as the rollerblades. The rollerblades are cool if you go to, like, a skate rink.
Yeah. Yeah, like, see, I don't know. I don't limit myself. Like, I'm, I like I said, I was raised. If I want to do something, damn it, I'm gonna do it.
Right.
Like, I water ski. I depth water ski. I scuba dive.
Oh, dang. Scuba diver.
Yeah, yeah. I scuba dive. Swimming. Let's see. I've hiked a mountain. I went to something called No Barrier Summit last summer, and I hiked a mountain in a specialized wheelchair. So like, like if I can do it, damn it, I'm gonna do it.
I like it.
I'm gonna find a way to do it. So.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. Let me ask you this. You've been using a wheelchair for a long time. Do you ever name your wheelchairs?
Not my wheelchair, but I did name my car.
What'd you name your car?
Cinnamon, because it's a red Toyota Corolla. It was my
Nice.
first car. I got it in 2019, and I couldn't afford a car, and I used student loan money actually, which I put into my Able account. Which, if anybody out there doesn't have an Able account, I highly recommend getting one of those. It's tax free, and
Sponsored by Able. Beep bing. I'm just joking.
Yeah. Able United is the Florida company, but yeah, when you get federal benefits like Medicare or whatever, you can't have more than $2,000 in your bank account.
Oh yeah.
So I put it into my Able account when I got student loan money, and I used that money to put a down payment on my first car. And so yeah, I don't know. I just out of the blue I started calling it Cinnamon. So,
Nice. Cinnamon reminds me of like a stripper name or something. Like, hi, I'm Cinnamon. And you're just like, whoa.
Well, I mean, it's a hot girl in a red car, so I had to name it something like that.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, hit the horn on that one, right? Now, guys, you will notice all of our people watching know that I'm from Michigan. I'm a very outstanding Michigan Wolverines fan. You can see she's got the Ohio State Buckeye shirt on, but we're not going to talk about it. We're not gonna beef or whatever. We've had our little chat before live, and she congratulated me, and it's very teamster, and it's it's what do you call it? Very good sportsmanship.
Friendly rivalry.
Yeah, there you go. Some people take it too much, man. I've been to some of those games, bro, and these college kids are freaking wild. Let me tell you, like, I couldn't keep up.
It's the biggest rivalry in the country, so
Yeah, it gets crazy. Let me ask you this: what about your pain level? You have any pain growing up, going through this?
Physically, no. I do now that I'm older.
Right.
I'll be 40 in 2 years. But no, you know, like I said, I count my blessings, not my burdens. And, they call spina bifida the snowflake condition because no two cases are the same. So, like, I don't necessarily have the same feeling or the same health problems as somebody else with spina bifida. And I've been pretty lucky, knock on wood, with my health. I was recently,
I got you.
2 weeks. Yeah, yeah, right. Like I was recently diagnosed with a superficial blood clot like 2 years ago or 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, how the heck did I go 38 years without one blood clot? And it's hard because I'm sitting down all the time. But
Yes,
it's
I think about that all the time.
part of getting old. Yeah,
Yeah, and I just turned
part of
38
being
as
old.
well. So like with you talking about this makes me think about it, and like now, so I've actually been thinking about like there's got to be some kind of like supplements or something that we can take to help out with some stuff like that to kind of clear the blood. I don't know if you got to be rich or something to get it or what. I don't know.
Yeah, no, they got me on blood thinners right now, that are making me like super tired. Um, I'm I might have to have my varicose veins removed, which sounds really
Oh,
gross. I know,
that
right?
just makes me go.
Yeah, I know.
Any kind of surgery
But yeah,
stuff. I hate the hospital. I hate being around any of that stuff. I'm sure a lot of us do. Like nobody wants to be in a hospital.
yeah, and also in that regard, I don't know, I've been pretty lucky. Um, like I've only had like 6 surgeries. Um, I have a shunt, a VP shunt, because I was also born with hydrocephalus. So I had a shunt placement when I was born. My shunt, my first one actually lasted 28 years, and it malfunctioned in 2014, which is pretty good. Everybody's different. Like they say it can last 2 months, 2 years. Like
Right.
I knew somebody that had 14 revisions within 2 years, and so yeah, like I've been pretty lucky. I didn't have any pain growing up. I like physically. I mean, I do suffer from depression and anxiety, so there's that. But other than that, yeah, I was
Who do you
pretty
stay
well
with?
off.
Do you have pets that you stay with, or you like live at home with
Uh,
anybody, or?
no, I live independently in my own apartment. I have a Siamese cat who, before this, was doing the zoomies. So I was
Nice.
like, please don't interrupt my interview, because I'll be on like Zoom call, and he's like crying in the background and sounds like a dying child. Like, yeah, I live with a cat, but it's funny because like I I never wanted kids. Never had a desire to have kids, and I just wanted a cat. But I feel like I got both because he's so intelligent that he can open my front door. I have to
Oh
lock my
goodness.
deadbolt before I leave the house, or he'll open the door.
Yeah, animals are
So,
just as bad as kids. I got to tell you, like literally. I mean, we have an Australian Shepherd, and she leaves her toys everywhere. It's like, oh yeah, Dad's in a wheelchair. You don't care. Let's just run over it, and that's what I have to do. I either have to move it or run over it, and I'm like, come on, man.
mhm.
And not only that, but like you get out in the yard. Yeah, we got a pretty decent sized yard, but you can't always see where the poop is, and it doesn't always get picked up. So it's like then you hit it, and then you smell it for 2 days because it's stuck in your tire or something
uh,
stupid. It's just the
yeah,
worst. But yeah, no, they really are like kids. You worry about them when you're
uh,
gone. You know what I mean? You think about them, and you have to take care of them and feed them. And we just talked about that on
yeah,
our last interview. You know, if you get into an injury and you don't have anybody, an animal is one of the best things to have. You know what I mean? Especially a
mhm.
cat. They're low
Yeah.
maintenance.
Oh yeah, and like I love to travel. I'm also a travel agent on the side. Um, and so
Whoa, a
like when I
travel
travel,
agent. We're going to talk about that. Go ahead.
yeah. Cody at Adventures by Jamie on Facebook and Instagram,
Nice.
is me. But yeah, I love to travel. So like when I travel, I don't have to worry about somebody taking care of him, and he's pretty self sufficient. And I just don't want a dog because I don't want to have to worry about somebody watching him, taking him out. And I grew up with all kinds of animals, but I don't right now.
Yeah, that's one of
A
the
cat
things
would
with the
be
cats because you can kind of just put out the box, you know what I mean, and they'll kind of take care of it themselves. And I mean, you can you can clean it and let it go for a week, and they'll be fine. But more
yeah,
than that, and it's like they start, they'll bitch about it, and they'll go somewhere else because they don't want to step in all that crap. Yeah,
and
cats are
all he
crazy.
does is sleep 18 hours a day, so.
Right, and then when you're up, when in the middle of the night, you'll hear stuff falling off the counter, and yep. Oh, I know all about it.
Yeah. Or eating something he's not supposed to.
Let me ask you this. So this is a question, kind of like, obviously for the spinal cord injury or whatever, but like, what helped you most after the injury? And like by that, I mean, I guess what helped you most, kind of growing up or whatever, having to live with spina bifida? What was the one thing that kind of helped you out the most, you think?
My family. I'm the oldest of 3 girls, and I mean, spina bifida might not be like the typical spinal cord injury that you think of, but it's still considered a spinal cord injury. It's a congenital one, and
Right.
but yeah, my family. I had a very supportive family. My grandmother on my mom's side, my mom was the baby of 6, and so my grandmother raised 6 kids, and my parents did not know when I was born that I would be born with spina bifida, and my grandma was like, "So what? She can't walk." Like they treated me just like my 2 sisters, and yes, my 2 sisters are normal. That's people ask me, "Oh, are your sisters normal?" I'm like, "No, I'm the normal one. They should have stopped after me."
Nice. We're gonna hit that on that one. That's a good one.
Right? Like, so I wouldn't be who I am today if it weren't for my family. Like I've seen, no offense to how other people raise their kids, but I've seen other parents of adult children with disabilities, and they're still holding their hand at 40 years old, and
Yeah.
it doesn't help. Like
I feel like a lot of people too are kind of scared. Like they're scared to let go and kind of do it by themselves.
Yeah, like like my parents, they were like, "We don't care if you don't walk." Like my grandma, she's old school. She washed my mouth out with soap. She put me over her knee. Like,
Right.
And I think I turned out good. Like, even my mom, we joke about it now. My mom, kicked me out of the house when I was 17. And like,
What?
I was even mouthier as a teenager than I am as an adult, and I was really sassy, and I still am. And she kicked me out of the house. She's like, if you're gonna live it, under this roof, then you got to follow the rules. And I backtalk. I was typical teenager, so I was like,
Right.
okay. I packed my bags. I called her friend. She picked me up. I was gone for 4 days.
Dang.
And now she feels bad because it's like, she worries about how other perceive her. Like, oh, she kicked out that poor handicapped child. But I was like, I deserved it.
Right. Like I was a badass. What are you talking about?
I'm having a mouthy little shit.
Now it's funny you mentioned the word sassy. We were talking about names earlier. That's what we call my van. Is sassy. Only because she only likes to work when she feels like it. With the ramp, because the ramp comes out and she hates the cold weather. She's got an attitude. She'll let you know. It's crazy. This van's got a mind of its own. I don't know what to tell you. But no, that's crazy. Running away from home, doing your own thing at 17, and just being like, you know what, screw it. I'll go do whatever. I mean, wheelchair or not, it ain't stopping you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. We've talked about a little bit about it. What about your hobbies that you got into? What kind of hobbies do you do?
Like I said, I love to travel. I love to travel so much. I became a travel agent.
And a travel agent, that just kind of helps people get places. Like, so if I want to call you and say, I want to go here, you're going to find me the best deal or something?
Yeah, and like it's free of charge. A lot of people, there's a misconception, that you need to pay a travel agent. There's no charge at all. I just take over, I get commission for, booking travel. But yeah, I can find, deals that you might not have access to because of, websites that we have access to.
Right.
So yeah, I love to travel. Like I've been on 2 cruises, Jamaica, Haiti, Grand Cayman. I went to Los Angeles 2 years ago for my birthday. That was pretty awesome. Expensive, but it was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
And I've been to New York City, Texas, Las Vegas.
And you've been everywhere, man. Yeah, like that old Johnny Cash song.
Yeah, Colorado, Seattle. Yeah, I love to travel. Yeah, I love to travel. I have 2 nieces. that are 4 and 7 that I love to death. I love spending time with them. You know, family is important to me. I love like I said, I love staying active. I've water skied. I've hiked in a grit wheelchair, which is a specialized wheelchair that helps people hike a mountain.
Right.
Water ski, scuba dive. I've scuba dived with a organization called Dive Heart, which is adaptive scuba diving. So like I said, if I can do it, where there's a will, there's a way. I'm gonna do
Right.
it.
Yeah, and just like, I mean, that's the thing. It's people seeing that and hearing that, they know that they can do it. You know what I mean? That there's no reason that they can't. You just gotta, like you said, if you want to do it, you'll find a way to do it. Danielle Wesley says it's the sass that helps us kick ass. Never give up. Stay sassy and classy. There it is. I like it. Yep. Yeah. So definitely. I mean, you know, it's this whole interview thing is about not just about SCI, but I'm glad that, you know, we have all these different types of people with these different, you know, ailments and these different diseases and things that they can talk to us about, situations that nobody might know of, you know what I mean? That we're getting an insight on, you know, what's really happening and how it goes in your world.
Right.
Now, speaking about that, we were mentioning travel. What about, there's a big thing about airplanes now. I know you've probably heard about the whole Boeing situation and all this stuff. When's the last time you've been on an airplane?
When I went to Colorado last summer. I went to Denver, Colorado for Novarious Summit, which is like an accessibility summit. So,
do they treat you the same way like the SCI people do, where you got to get on the little aisle cart?
If I can help it, I always fly Southwest. And the nice thing about Southwest is I don't have to transfer out of my chair into like an aisle seat. So
they let you ride in your chair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with Southwest,
go.
I can fit through the entrance of the plane, and as long as I get a seat in the front, then I can transfer independently. So, yeah, if I can help it, I always fly Southwest because they're the best, and you know they've always really treated me well. So, yeah.
Right, and I know they're working on stuff too. A lot of airliners are working on to where we can now actually bring our chairs in, especially if you have like a power chair and you can lock it in. So that's something I think they're working on too, which is good because, to tell you the truth, I'm never going to get on a plane. But for people that want to get on planes, I've heard some horror stories, and I would hate to see that. You know what I mean?
Like I hear some of my friends that haven't necessarily been as lucky, and there's been some horror stories. But like personally, as much as I've traveled, I can remember only one time that I had a bad experience with Southwest was when a couple, like maybe 5 years ago, I was actually going to Disability Inn, which is a disability conference for people with disabilities and employers. And Southwest actually sponsored, and they gave us tickets to get us to the conference.
Nice.
Like I said, when I wheel into the plane, I ask them if I can transfer to the front seat so that I don't need an aisle chair to get to the other seats.
Right.
Well, they asked this couple in the front if they could move so that I could, have the front seat. They refused.
Oh. Yeah, assholes.
I asked them several times. Even people on the plane asked them to move, and they refused. So I had to crawl to the second aisle seat in front of a whole plane.
Oh, damn. They're probably all looking like thinking those guys are assholes. Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, like people on the plane stuck up for me. Like the travel agents or the flight attendants, I feel like they could have did a little bit better sticking up for me. But I was pissed and I stuck up for myself, and I got home and I wrote a complaint to Southwest Airlines, and they gave me a free flight voucher. So
wherever you want to go, huh? Like, hey, you can go wherever you want to go. Here you go for free. We're sorry.
Yeah, I ended up going to see my boyfriend at the time in Seattle. So it was worth it. But that was the only time, for the most part. And I don't care about the pat downs. I'm like, it's a necessary evil. I don't care. Like,
Right.
do what you got to do.
Oh, yeah,
We
go
all have a
ahead.
job to do. Like,
Yep. Check
don't
it
care.
out. Feel around all you want. Go ahead. I don't feel a damn thing down there. Well, I don't. You probably do, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm just like, I don't have any modesty. I'm like, I don't care. You have the job to do. I got somewhere I want to go. Like, just do it. So
Right.
I don't care.
Before we get to our last question of the day, I do have another question that typically I just, ask every once in a while. What do you do for fitness? For having Spinabifida, how do you like stay in shape? Or try to like keep your blood flowing and stuff, you know what I mean?
I actually have a gym membership to Planet Fitness. I'll be honest, I have been slacking lately, so I I haven't been going as much as I should.
We all have. Trust me, you're not the only one.
But I do have a membership, and I love going. And it's that, like, it's hard to like get, which I'm sure everybody can relate. Like, it's hard to get motivated to want to go, but once you go, you feel better.
Right. Once you get in, you start getting in there, you're good to go, right?
Yeah. It's that initial, like, get your ass up and go, just do it. And
Yep.
yeah, I do that. I actually used to be at a adaptive rowing club. But,
I've heard about that. Yep.
Their practices were like 7 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
and,
goodness gracious.
2 days a week, and I'm not a morning person.
I don't even wake up till 9.
So, yeah, right. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I love to swim. I have a membership to the local pool, so there's the nice thing about living in Florida. There's a lot of scenery and trails and stuff.
Right.
Especially where I live. And so, like, I like to wheel on some of what they call the Legacy Trail here in Venice. It's a trail actually that goes from Venice to Sarasota. And it's very scenic. So.
Sounds beautiful already. Everything in Florida is just nice. I don't know. I keep wanting to go down there, but
everybody's welcome.
I tell you what, one of these days I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna make sure everybody that lives in Florida knows, and we're just gonna stop everywhere along the way. It's gonna be fun.
That's right. Have a Spinal Cord Injury meetup.
Right, there you go. Leon says, I love the wheelhouse. Appreciate it, Leon. We love you watching and hanging out. By the way, guys, give a like. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't been a part of this yet. I mean, follow us along on these journeys. We get some pretty crazy stories and some pretty inspirational people along the way. Now, the last question that I have for you, Cody, is, I think, one of the most important, is... Like I said, I mean, pretty much it's kind of like for spinal cord injuries, but it goes for anybody. What would be your best piece of advice that you could give somebody that is kind of dealing with just either waking up from an injury or living the way that you have to live? What would you give somebody, like your advice on the way you live and what they should do?
Actually, some of the best piece of advice that I've been given: life is a journey, not a destination. So, if you feel stuck in your current situation, just keep moving forward. It's not the end. It's going to get better. For example, I like I said, I got my first car in 2019, and I depended on, people, friends, and transportation, public transportation. And, like, I thought, I'm never going to be able to afford a car. Like, I felt like I lived in a fishbowl, having to depend on anybody. And you know what? That dream came true. I was able to buy my first car in 2019. So, like I said, life's a journey, not a destination. It might be tough now, but it can, it has a potential to get better. So just keep swimming.
Nice. Keep swimming. I like it. I do like it. All right, so I want to say thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Letting us know a little bit about yourself and about your specific situation. Now you are part of what I like to call the wheelchair mafia. You're in it. So a year from now, we might hit you up and be like, hey, what's up, Cody? What's going on? What's happening? Let's talk about this. Or, you know what I mean? Kind of catch us up on your situation. You're in it to win it. We're going to keep you locked in. Appreciate you coming. I'm going to give you another round of applause here. I'm a little butt machine. Now, stay with me. We're going to talk to you here a little bit after we end this for everybody else. Everybody else, like I said, appreciate you watching along, all of our live viewers. Thank you for coming along, commenting, checking it out. Thanks for hitting the like button. If you would like to see some merch, like I said, check it out. There's a link in the description, wcmafia.com. We got all kinds of new stuff. Also, we're going to be putting Cody's links in there if she wants them, if you want people to find you at Instagram, Facebook, whatever. We'll throw that down in there. TikTok, check her out. We're going to put that in there. And until the next one, appreciate it. Thanks for watching. This has been Wheelchair Wednesday.